I'll hold your umbrella any day.
You did hold my umbrella for a while.
People are stupid. You know, it's like what you and I always talk about with like because people like pretend to be like alpha males. It doesn't make you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I held your umbrella for like 2 days. I didn't feel any smaller of a man. Yeah, no, it's just like I don't know. You're shooting. Hold your umbrella. What's the big fucking deal?
Yeah, right.
People creep me out. I was with somebody yesterday. Total alpha, and I believe in the whole alpha beta thing. I believe in that, of course. But there's a lot of false positives. You know, a lot of guys that look and act like they're like, you know, and they're just not, you know.
Yeah. So are you alpha or beta?
Oh, I'm alpha. What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop.
I'm the Omega Planet Ocean Deep Sea.
That's a cool watch. It's ultra deep.
Ultra deep. Did you hear? This is not the watch that they're selling, but
enough of you. This video is sponsored by Masterworks. Masterworks is a technology company that allows the public to invest in partial ownership of art. Masterworks has done extremely well as a medium for their investors. We'll talk more about what they do and how they do it later. But thank you to Masterworks for supporting us and for sponsoring this video. Highly suggest that you check out Masterworks. We'll get more on that later.
The original one they were checking out. No, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny. Right? Enough of you.
If we ever have a bad client, can we both do that at the same time? We'll say enough of you, and I'd pack up all the gear.
Michael and I, obviously, you know, Michael works for Theo and Harris. We are partners in another venture that is just like Theo and Harris. Yes. So, but even in Theo and Harris, like I consult Michael on basically all decisions. Just not on his ideas. You know, I want to see if I'm crazy. And we both, while love building business and love doing important things, have a almost zero tolerance for bullshit.
Oh my, it's horrible.
Someone asked me the other day if they could basically negotiate a rate on a project, and I said, "Oh no, I'm sorry, no." They said, "Wait, what?"
You call me. You're like, "Hey, this guy wants to negotiate." No, screw him. I don't want to do it. I'd rather have the time.
I'd rather have the time.
I'm sorry, no.
After, you know, even when you do really well on a project, like whatever, I'll look at Michael and say, "Oh, I wouldn't have done that for $1 less."
And the worst part is, I agree. I'm like, no way. If a client hit us lower for a lower number, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
We're already paying you so well. Absolutely not. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just too tired.
You're like, I could have just hung out in Brooklyn. I don't need to be
I would love to sit in my chair.
All right, come on. Enough horseplay.
So the Ultra Deep Dive, there's a new one we're talking about. We're also talking about the Speedmaster 57 update. This is a 2-part video, so this week we are launching 3 videos. But before any of that, the Ultra Deep Dive, not the one being sold, the original one, 55 millimeters, very, very big.
Yes.
Do you know the story of that?
Well, you can talk about it.
They dropped it on the Marianas Trench. It fell off the...
They had to go retrieve it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to... It could go down there, not for a long time.
Yes.
But it could go down there, and it was supposed to be like, oh, look, it touched the bottom of the trench. That's great. They dropped it. And then conditions became too bad to retrieve it for a few days. Yeah. So then they went back down, assuming it would be destroyed. And it was not. And it lost 1 second of time.
It's an amazing watch. And
smashed all records, by the way.
Yes.
This is the new king.
So first of all, I was actually with Omega when they launched these watches. I was down in Miami with Omega.
Yep.
It was very, very cool to hear. First of all, Omega does an incredible job as far as disseminating information. Definitely to the media. How well the media does sometimes at disseminating to the public is a different story, but
Omega has it together, others might not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But wow, I mean, the effort that Omega puts into like making it clear how much thought goes into things is very, very good. At a point during a Q&A with one of the lead developers for Omega, I don't recall the gentleman's name. I asked about the Moonshine Gold, which we'll talk about.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to stump anybody. You
just want to know.
When I ask a question, I really think that you have the answer. Otherwise, I'm not going to ask.
Christian from Theo and Harris.
Yeah, right. People do that all the time. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? Yeah. So anyway, I just asked. Okay, I love the Moonshine Gold. Everyone here loves Moonshine Gold. Is there anything you could tell us about, you know, the development process there? Like, why is it so beautiful? And the guy, did I tell you what he did?
No.
He literally pulled out a circle, right? Maybe it was an inch thick. And it was like a pie, divided,
Sure.
and all of the proportionate levels of 24 karat yellow gold, palladium in the pie, and it was all beads.
What?
I was like, what the fuck? That is the coolest answer I've ever seen in my life.
And he was just saying,
and he was
this.
like, yeah, it's this, and these two elements are the ones, these two metals are the ones that really give it that shine. It's this cumulative 12% that really gives us a lot.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, that couldn't have been a better answer. Like,
Yeah.
I would have thought that I'd planned it with him before,
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
incredible. Anyway, Omega does an incredible job. So we're talking about the Ultra Deep.
Ultra Deep
Right.
Dive first.
So they released two, right?
Yes,
Or
yes.
two watches, but multiple variations of the second. One was in titanium.
Yep.
And then one was in steel.
Yes.
The steel one is great. It will probably be more popular than the titanium. Amazing watch.
Sure.
I like the titanium. I think it's unreal.
You have a smaller wrist. It's a 45
Yeah,
millimeters.
45 mil.
That's big.
You tell me. I think it actually looks pretty good.
It does. I mean,
Like,
it's a big
it's big
watch.
on my wrist,
Yeah, of
but-
course.
I don't know.
But for 6,000 meters of proofness, I guess at that point, that's insane.
I think this watch is too big for me to buy. Like, it's not watch that's not my style, like in that way.
Yeah.
But if Omega loaned me this watch, which they would if I asked, I would wear this watch constantly.
Oh yeah.
It's incredible. Now, have you seen the lugs on this watch?
The manta ray lugs. I haven't seen them from different angles other than this, but I heard that the angles the lugs are nuts. I'm gonna
It's
sneeze, by the way.
amazing. I love fixed lugs. Manta lugs. Literally looks like a manta ray.
Wow.
And there's the space in the center, so you could swap out the NATO straps like
And
that.
so you can basically pinch it out and
Amazing.
wow.
Cool, right?
That's very cool.
I love this watch.
That's a nice play on fixed lugs.
Yes.
Because when you say fixed lugs, you expect to see basically kind of stuck spring bars.
Yep. I think
really
this
cool.
watch is absolutely incredible. They did a remarkable job.
Wow.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, again, a lot of the stuff, and you can't deny it, right? Like, there were absolutely shocking similarities between some of Omega's releases and some of Rolex releases.
Of course.
Absolutely. The same can be said for most brands, right?
Yes.
Including Rolex. When everyone says that everyone's copying Rolex, the implication is that what Rolex is doing with their most important stuff is these colors,
Yeah, of course.
like that these are truly inventive. They're not.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah.
Why aren't people saying on the flip side, that Omega is leading in development and technology?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone says when you say that, they're like, oh, it's because you can't get a Rolex. You're like, you sound stupid. At least it's the way that I feel. I mean,
No, it makes
yes, there
perfect
are
sense.
similarities. Omega clearly reacted to the culture, the prevailing style going on in the world right now.
Which we'll hit in part two a little bit more too.
But Rolex didn't invent a gold dial with black subdials.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Right.
Rolex didn't invent the green watch.
Yeah, right,
come on.
right.
It gets a little bit silly,
Of course.
And the watches are far more than that. I mean, that's the Ultra Deep. I think it's incredible. Do I have a picture of the other one?
What does it feel like titanium versus steel in terms of weight?
I mean, it's extremely light. I much prefer the titanium. I just love that color.
Color. I was gonna say because you usually stray away from titanium because you like weight, so I didn't know if it was too heavy.
And now, what do you know about the about the steel that was used in the Ultra Deeps?
Oh, I wrote it down. Omega steel.
Omega steel.
O-mega steel. 50% higher on the Vickers scale versus conventional stainless
Yes,
steel.
but that aside, the color
Of the steel?
Oh yeah.
Really?
It looks more like a precious metal than more traditional steel.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Now, what is Rolex's steel called?
I don't know.
I forget.
I know
Either
the
way.
two-tone is called Rolesor.
Rolesor, I forget what their alloy for steel is.
Roll of steel.
Roll of steel. Oh, I mean, this is Omega steel. You can't really branch off that much. Different shade than regularly what you see with Rolex?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow. Rolex's record at the time was 10,916 meters. Omega beat that by 19 meters. And I'm pretty sure the reason it's only 19 meters is because they hit the bottom of the ocean. You can't
It's
get any
incredible.
deeper.
And all these watches that Omega released are tested 25% beyond their rating as well.
Yeah.
So the rating is kind of,
Just in case
small.
you go sub the deepest part in the ocean.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that insane?
It's incredible. Omega has done an incredible job with this particular watch. So before we get into the next topic, which is the
Yes.
Speedmaster 57, a very cool
Appropriate size for men like us.
watch. Small men, real tiny guys.
Tiny boys.
A quick message from our sponsor today, which I think is really appropriate for just our community.
100%.
And it's Masterworks. And Masterworks was founded back in 2017. by an art collector and a tech entrepreneur. Essentially, they created this company that enabled the public. Now, to date, I think it's over 325,000 people that have signed up and done business with him.
Yep.
And enabled everyone, not just of mega wealth, but everyone to actually get involved through partial ownership and investment in the art community. Now, why?
Specifically, blue chip. Andy Warhol, Banksy, Picasso, names like that. Yeah.
So, why? Well, one. Money aside, I actually think it's very, very cool to even be in tune with the art world the same way that I think it's interesting to be buying into vintage Daytonas and different, whatever. The art world is even, honestly, it's more complex and it's more storied. In signing up through Masterworks, you are able to, even as a relatively regular person without tens of millions of dollars to buy into these pieces or hundreds of millions, you're able to buy a small fraction of a piece of art.
Yep.
Through this, Masterworks has become one of the largest buyers in the art market, in the blue chip art market today. And while clearly we have no credentials to give investment advice,
of course, this is not investment advice.
This is not investment advice, but strictly factually speaking, the art market, like the watch market, like the car market, but the art market at the top has done remarkably well over the last decades. It's true. The more popular it's gotten, the more eyes that are on it. Blue chip art has done very, very well.
100%. So you can invest in blue chip art for the very first time by signing up at masterworks.art/Theo Harris. Speedmaster 57, aka the watch that we can both wear.
How large is it?
40.5 meters.
Let me ask you a question.
It's huge.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
How important is it to you? Because the Daytona does not have a see-through case back.
Yes.
How important is, and this is watches $2,000 less than a Daytona, or maybe $3,000.
Yep.
How important is it to you? And you can get it. How important is it to you that watch has a see-through case back?
I would say actually pretty important the more that I think about it.
I think it's,
I was going to say no, and then now looking at this movement and just movements in general, if it's well done, very important.
Well, of course, that needs to be, of course.
If it looked like junk, it's like, okay, put the case over that.
I think that the fact that Omega can deliver a watch that is, again, I don't look at the fact that it's manual as a negative. I think that the fact that it's manual is a positive.
I would agree.
I actually prefer the manual. Yep. But this is a true Speedmaster. A great size, 40.5, with two great dial configurations right here. One in green, which is, you shouldn't be able to get the green one, right? The green one should have much more demand than supply. We'll see, because Omega does a great job of making things available even when they are in high demand. Omega does a great job at that.
Yeah.
But by all logic, for most people, this is a better buy than a Daytona.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a new movement. This is a master chronometer. And the reason that this is 40.5 and it can be so thin, even though, because it's a manual wind, is because it is 6.4 millimeters thick, which outpaces basically, I don't want to say basically, but almost every other movement in this price range and in this area.
Yeah, it's incredible. I tried this watch on. I absolutely loved it. Again, even in black, it's fantastic. The Daytona does this well, but this watch does it better. And again, I'm not just comparing it to Daytona. There are other watches too. From Zenith, from a host of different brands that are producing chronographs. Obviously, high-end chronographs or high mid-tier chronographs.
Yeah.
But I think that straddling that line between sport and elegance is very important, and Omega does it really, really well. Even on the bracelet, it's a elegant watch, but it's a sporty watch. You put that watch on and you don't even need to throw it on an alligator strap. You put an alligator strap, and it's a dress watch. For all intents and purposes.
That's the great part about an appropriately sized, both in diameter and in width or thickness. That's the best part. You're like, it is kind of a dress watch. It's not like bulky or anything like that.
You can wear that with a suit, 100%. Not that people are wearing suits every day, but that watch has extreme diversity.
Oh yeah, exactly. What was interesting though for me is that Omega used tomographic scans. Do you know what that is?
No.
It is a technique for displaying a representation of a cross section through a human body or other solid object using X-rays or ultrasound.
I have no idea what that means.
No, I don't either. But that's what I was thinking about. Why the reason I put this in the notes is because I thought it was funny. For the most part, they did this to basically get it perfectly aligned with the original, the 57. Wow. So they say in order to best understand the original case design and bring it back to life.
Wow.
And then I pictured us being like, well, we'll just do that visually.
Right.
We're like, this button needs to go out a little further.
Yeah, right. But
So,
they're
yeah.
actually taking it that step further. Wow. Yeah, like I said before, Omega, it's like their dedication to development and technology, in my opinion, especially at the price point, but really even without the price point, is almost unparalleled. I visited the Omega manufacturer in Biel, and it was incredible. Not only are the facts of what they produce just remarkable, but the way that they communicate it is incredible. If you guys are in the area, I highly recommend shooting Omega an email, because I really, there are only two brands that I think that are really out there right now that are really, really hustling for your business, and it's Omega and Grand Seiko.
Yep,
and they're very different. They're different style. They're direct competitors with a different style. And the truth is, and I'll help you guys decide which one you want. But these watches, both of them, both brands, they're working so hard to make you happy, and that is atypical in today's industry.
And what's kind of cool with Omega specifically is that's basically their entire history is pushing things forward, like really, really, really aggressively. They had the bumper movements, then they hit the 360, and they've always been pushing technology. So now, as we talked about in a prior video that we did, like anti-magnetism is Rolex going to update the Milgauss or something like that. This is a master chronometer, so it just comes with the watch. I don't even think it's on the case back advertised. It's not. They don't even advertise it. It's just
master?
Like that. It's they usually they do like the magnet sign.
Oh right, yeah.
They don't even mention it.
Yeah,
it's just kind of built in now.
It's a default for them. They've set the bar so high.
Yeah.
These watches are fantastic.
So there's black, blue, green, and a deep red. What color are you getting?
I would probably I wouldn't do the deep red. It's gorgeous, but I just wouldn't do it.
Yep.
I would do black or green.
Black or green.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible. Can we talk about one more watch real quick before we end the episode?
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay. So while I was with Omega, just a couple of weeks ago, last week when they were announcing these watches in Miami, and all over the globe, they passed around their ladies' watches as well. And a lot of people kind of like passed through them, whatever. But I was like...
Well, because they're too alpha.
Too alpha. Like, I'm not going to look at a...
I don't need to see the woman's watch.
But I said, wow, Omega really cares about women's watches. And the statement is much larger than that. Because what I really mean is, Omega is one of the few brands, I think, that is looking to the future, because right now I think it's just the beginning of what how women will be actually coming into the wristwatch industry. Right, the larger the industry gets, I believe there will be a tipping point, and women are going to start really wearing watches more often.
Not as jewelry, is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of it will be jewelry.
Of course, yep.
But who cares?
Yeah.
They're going to start opting for watches as opposed to Apple watches. Or watches as opposed to nothing. And now this is going to be new culturally. Women wear watches, of course, and they have in the past, but it's still not hip right now. It's just not.
Yeah, right.
But Omega is creating watches that are almost irresistible to people, right?
Yep.
You're seeing it on the red carpet a lot. Years ago, you never saw a red carpet gown, especially from a young person, with a wristwatch. And I've seen it like 3 times in the last 3 months. Kaya Gerber was the first one, to Cindy Crawford's daughter, got a ton of heat for it. People said, oh, that wasn't elegant.
Really?
Totally wrong.
She's Omega sponsored, right?
She is now an Omega partner.
Yep.
And now I've seen it 2 more times since, and I can even pull up a photo and you can put it on the screen. I have to find it. But like women wearing watches. I know it sounds like it's obvious because the Lady Day just does so well, but I'm not talking about businesswoman. I'm talking about chic.
It was really social faux pas. Really, what's interesting is that women started the wristwatch trend, and then it did become a little bit like, no, when we came into the era of like all women's wristwatches basically could close. You could hide the dial.
Yes.
Because it wasn't cool. It wasn't classy.
Look at this. That's a stone dial, gorgeous. Like original, obviously that Constellation case with a really interesting strap. I don't know. I think they did a great job with that.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I also like the circle date window.
I think it's great. It fits in totally with the diamonds in the dial. I don't know. I mean, I think that Omega sees the future on this one.
Did you see Omega's? Oh, you did. Okay.
Look at that.
Is that women's still?
Beautiful that is. Women's lavender dial Constellation.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Did you see the men's?
This is beautiful.
Is there even such thing?
I would love a woman to have this.
Yeah, you'd love a woman.
I'd love a woman.
He
to
has
begin
one,
with, you
but
know.
still.
But yeah, he has one in his basement. I was out with a girl one time, and she, you know, who knows? She could be watching this. But I was out with a girl one time.
She's 30 minutes into a Theo and Harris video.
Yeah, exactly.
You messed her up, dude.
And someone said, was walking into a room, and I said, "Hi, I'm Christian," and it's just a person, and they said, "Is she yours?" I said, "Is she mine? Me?" I said, "Yeah, I keep her in the basement, and I let her out sometimes. I hit her, and I let her out sometimes for food." And the woman just did not get the joke because I was making fun of her statement. Is she yours? Me?
Yeah. What's that noise you make when people ask that? I've never heard that.
Ming?
Ming?
Yeah, Ming. It's like I don't even know. I don't even know what it really means. It's like Italian. It's like it's like.
Oh, it's Italian.
It's like shit.
Oh, okay,
You know,
okay.
I think it really means like something phallic, but Ming. You never heard Ming before?
No.
Yeah. Some of you people out there are gonna get it.
You people get it.
Some of you Italians. But anyway, yeah, I love this. I think this is great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Lavender.
Their Constellation women's line has always been gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I think they really get it. Talk more about that later. But
Well, yeah. Well, next up, this is only part 1 of a part 2 video. Next up, we have the Aquaterra releases. Very colorful now.
and Speedmasters in gold. We're talking about that.
Yes, Speedmaster and the Seamaster Diver, and then I did have the Constellation at the end.
We'll keep going. Let's just listen. I'm drinking. We're vibing.
If
this
the
is
juices
fun.
are flowing, who are we to stop?
Everyone's like, he's getting drunk again, and he's fuck you.
Oh my God, I think I need to reach out again.
Yeah, right. I really should comment and give Michael my support. Please.
All right, well, see ya.